Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel. I'm excited to bring you DIY Dollar Tree Christian Easter Decor. This one is the egg wall decor. We're going to use this hippity hoppity Easter sign, as well as this two-tiered Easter blessing sign. We're also going to use some of the antique birch contact paper. This is from the Dollar Tree. All of these items are from the Dollar Tree, and as well as our scissor and gluing device. But we're also going to use ribbon. We're going to use two different kinds just to make a bow. You basically want to make a bow that you want to make. I know, I'm silly. And you're going to need 4 popsicle size craft sticks, as well as your gluing device and glue sticks, and as well as a scissor, and you might need an X-Acto knife depending on your love for contact paper. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is we're just going to remove the middle sign. We're going to save the outside of the egg for another project for another day. I don't have anything in mind, so don't keep looking for it, but we're only going to use the part that hangs in the middle. And this is very easy. They're sort of like these little strings with the little eyelets on it that you just feed them through. You don't have to cut it. You can cut it if you want to, but you don't have to. And we're going to actually fill that hole in a little bit. I didn't mention in a list of things because it's just an option, but we're going to use some of the wood filler that we got from the Dollar Tree. But again, you don't have to do that. That's just something I want to show you guys how to do it if you want to do it. Okay, so we're going to remove the hanger, and we're just going to flip this egg over. We have techniques on our channel plenty of times before where we have removed the paper and such. So if you want to check out those, I think the mason jar sign was one of them. But we're just going to go ahead and stick this on the back. Now, if you are a fan of this channel and you know that I'm doing this backwards, I am cutting the wrong side of the contact paper on the wrong side of the egg. So that's not right. Don't do that. If you're going to cut on the back side of the contact paper, make sure that you can also see the back side of the egg. The reason I'm saying that to you is because it is not a perfect oval. It's when I cut the paper out, it doesn't quite line up. So make sure you keep that in mind. Basically, if you see the back of the contact paper, you need to see the back of your work. All right. So I've just taken a dry erase marker and I've traced around it. And now when you're cutting it, you want to make sure you cut just inside the marker so that you don't have to do any trimming. But you know, we've done lots of DIYs on our channel before, and we've done lots of work with contact paper, and I've got lots of things on my channel where you can actually take the edge of the X-Acto knife. You can lay a big piece of contact paper down, just take the edge of your X-Acto knife and run it along the edge of your egg, and you can get a nice clean cut. You don't have to go through all of this. This technique is just to teach other people, you know, just to teach another technique of how to do it, I guess is what I'm saying. Okay? But again, if you're going to do it, make sure you cut the right side and trace the right side and all that things. Okay. Now, I did hold it up to the egg picture that we're going to use. I picked the antique birch because it mimics the color of the cross in the Easter blessings picture. And now we're lining the egg up. We're basically dry fitting it. And then once we have it dry fitted where we want it, we're going to peel back some of the paper. And again, make sure it's lined up in all the different sides. Like I said, because I did trace the wrong side, it actually isn't perfect. But it's okay, because what we're going to do is we're going to enhance that in a little bit anyway. Okay? So what you want to do is you want to, once you get it going, you want to go ahead and stick it down. Now, we've done lots of, like I said, we've done a lot of crafts with contact paper. So this is, you guys probably pretty much know the technique. But if you're new to my channel, hi, I'm Jeri-Ann. But what we're doing is we've peeled back a little bit of the backing. We're going to stick it to the top of the egg, or the top of wherever we're starting. And then once we have it all lined up, we're going to press it down. And then once we press it down, we're going to press it down actually really good. We're going to hold the area we press down, and we're going to slowly peel the paper back as we rub on the contact paper back and forth. Now, because my contact paper had some creases in it, there are a couple areas that are going to want to bubble on you. Just make sure before you finish, you go ahead and rub all of those out. If you feel like you need to use some sort of old gift card or a widget or anything of those, burnisher, to get the smoothness that you want, you can go right ahead. I don't think it's as critical with this, especially if you're trying to mimic real wood. Real wood has texture no matter how much you sand it. Okay, So we're just going to continue the whole way down, and we're going to go slow, because why rush? I mean, we could be done. We could just pulled it, whoop, and then gotten all the air bubbles out later. But when we take your time, you realize that you don't really have to go over any areas really anymore. And then rub it out. That's it. Okay. Now, what I did want to tell you that I consciously made a decision to make the grain of this wood go horizontal. I don't know why I opted to, but when I held the little picture up against it, I kind of felt like it was nicer that way. I don't know why. I wish I could explain to you. But because I did cut the egg on the wrong side, I did trace the egg on, on the wrong side, and it didn't line up perfectly. I went ahead and I wanted to run with that. So I did was I took my craft knife and I just cut a little bit of the paper off of all of the edges, just to make it basically to blend in the part that didn't quite fit, and to cut off the excess of the parts that were excess because they were on the other side. And then what I decided to do was we're going to sand it. We're going to give it a nice sanded edge, so it kind of gives that like worn wood look. Because if you are a Christian celebrating Easter, then you know about the wood was not perfect. You know, they call it the old rugged cross for a reason. It's supposed to look worn. It's supposed to look aged and old. So we just wanted to accentuate that a tiny bit. So what I'm doing is I'm basically taking the edge off a little bit, and now I'm taking a piece of sandpaper. And yes, you can sandpaper contact paper. You can sandpaper contact paper? You can sand contact paper. What I'm doing when I hold it at this angle on the edge, and because I've rubbed it down so well, it's actually removing a very, very small amount on the very, very corner, and as well as roughing up the shininess of the contact paper as well. So what we're going to do is we're going to rough that up so it kind of looks more dull like wood than the shiny like a contact paper. Okay, now just going all the way around all the edges, and then once I'm done, I'm just running with the grain of the wood. I'm just running over. This is kind of dull contact paper. Sandpaper. It was a 110 grit, but I've been using it for so long that it's really, really worn down, which is perfect for this application. Now I'm just repoking the hole that the hanger will go in. Okay, and then go ahead and put that burlap hanger back on there. Now you can opt to do anything different with the hanger if you want to. That's entirely up to you, as you know. Okay, a ribbon, a piece of burlap, any of those would look nice. Okay, so now I'm going to take the egg medallion, and I wanted it to be elevated. So if you saw my heart home sign that we made around Valentine's Day, we did this very similar technique where we created feet on the back of the top layer thing, so it's elevated away from the bottom layer. But this time we're going to make it permanent. We're going to glue it down. So what I've done is I've taken 2 popsicle sticks, I've glued them together, and as the glue is setting up, I made sure I pressed it one of the edges down on the counter so we get a nice straight line. Make sure they're nice and even. And then I took a bead of glue across those 2 even edges, and I glued it to the back of the top piece. And then I repeated that with the other 2 popsicle sticks. Okay, and I've created these like feet. So now when I have it positioned where I want to, you can mark this at this point. You can like use your ruler and decide where you want it to go, but I really just like to go for it, you know. I just added glue to the back and then glued it on there. All right, and that's how it looks basically done now. Like, it could be done now. It's up to you. You don't have to add the bow, you don't have to add the flowers or embellishments or whatever, but I'm just showing you here how it would look with some embellishments. Okay, so what I have here is I pulled out some of the Easter lilies just to show you, because there are Easter lilies and lavender in the actual print. So I went ahead and I just wanted to show you that you could tuck flowers around the space between the first and second layers, would be really pretty. You can just, you know, jazz them up all over. You can do as little as much as you want. It would also look really pretty if you had like Spanish moss coming out. Not necessarily the green moss necessarily, but the Spanish moss, because again, it will add to that rugged, aged feel as well. Okay, that's just to show you how it would look with different flowers. just a different types of embellishments. But what I decided to do is I'm going to go ahead and make a bow. Now, I didn't take a picture of the Easter ribbon. I'm sorry. I realized that I didn't take a picture of it before I used it. But I'll show it to you in a second, okay? Now I've just taken a little bit of that wood filler. This is the Elmer's wood filler that I got from the Dollar Tree. This is the stainable kind. And I'm just taking it and I'm showing you here how you just fill in that hole. And even if you don't color it further or paint it, you can see it just makes that much difference where it actually makes the hole disappear. Even if it's just, even if it will dry the same color, but even if it didn't, you can see there how it looks a lot less noticeable than the hole. All right, that's what I was trying to get to. So now we're going to make a bow, and I've decided to use this burlap ribbon that I got at Walmart. I got it for $2. First I got it on clearance for $3, then I found it on clearance for $2. So I have so much of it, I've been trying to use it. So I'm going to use that to make the bow, as well as some of the Easter ribbon from the Dollar Tree that I don't even know if they had this color this year. My sister sent it to me last year or the year before at this point. So I had it on hand, as well as the teal looking I know, teal or turquoise looking ribbon, the wire edge ribbon from the Dollar Tree. Okay, so this is really pretty plaid. I love it, and I feel like the blue ribbon from the Dollar Tree does pick up on the blue in the plaid here. Now we're going to do a 3-loop ribbon with 3 tails. We're going to use the burlap to be a little bit bigger of the loop. The next biggest loop will be the plaid, and then the smallest loop will be the blue on top, and that's just to add that dimension in that layer. And we're going to cut a tail the same size for each one as well. Okay, now I have bow tutorials on my channel. Well, I have a bow tutorial on my channel that shows you how to make different types of bows, 2 different types of bows actually, and then we've done other bows on other videos as well. But for this one, we're creating the 3 loops, and we're just going to layer them on top of each other. I'm not worried about them being puffy at this point because these are all wire-edged ribbons, and we'll puff them out later. And then I'm going to take 2 of the tails, the 2 of the biggest tails, of the bottom layer ribbons, and we're going to lay that bow on top of it. And then we're going to take the blue tail, and then we're going to use it to bind it all together. So it's very, very simple. You can fold your loops in half to just get the where you're supposed to tie it evenly, but you just go ahead and you take that last tail and you tie it around the bows and behind the tails, and what it does is it creates that knot as well as holds it all together. Okay, and because it's wire edged ribbon, we can just tuck the blue tails back over the plaid, or basically fluff them out anywhere you want. Now this ribbon does look really pretty with it just flat, the 3 layers flat as you saw there, but it also looks really pretty when it's puffed out. So it depends on the look that you're going for. I also wanted to show you here that you can pull like the different bows in different directions, so the different loops in different directions. So I have like the blue in the middle, I pulled the plaid down and the burlap up. You know, and you can do just mix and match. Basically play with the bow until it's the way that you like it. All right. Now what I've decided to do was I didn't want to glue it because I might want to switch this up from time to time. Who knows? So I've just taken the string hanger and I've tucked it behind the knot of the bow. Basically that would be like the same as me tying the bow around the string. So I just did it this way. I just used a little bit of my scissor and I poked it through the knot of the jute hanger, and then I just pulled it down, and then I went and played with it. Zhuzh it. You know, zhuzh is a word, it's in the dictionary. So you go ahead and zhuzh it up. You make it as frou-frou, frilly, as clean. I mean, you could cut these tails to almost look like a bow tie, so they're just right below the bow surface. I've decided to make them all dovetailed, and I've made them at different lengths. I basically made them as long as the bow is wide. So the blue is obviously a little shorter than the plaid's a little shorter than the burlap. Okay, and I pulled these colors right out of the picture. I figured the sky, the purple, the plaid really matches. I just really loved it. I really did love it. So I'm just showing you here like different techniques of what it would look like. Okay, And I'm also going to show you here, I'm going to hold some of this pieces of lavender up as well, just to show you that you could add flowers to this without too much trouble. Technically, you would add flowers to the bow if you didn't want to add flowers to the Easter egg portion. But here I am just doing like the waving of the ribbon. I'm showing you that because it's wire edge ribbon, you can purposefully give it a wave so it looks like it's flowing in the wind, but you could also just lay it flat. It's entirely up to you. It really is, after, honestly, like just like beauty is in the eye of the beholder. The aesthetic that you're looking for, the way that you want to doll it up or zhuzh it up, teaching you the techniques that you can make it your own, and do what you think looks good. If you may think this bow might be too big for this egg, you might think that this bow might be too little for this egg. You know what I'm saying? You might think that it's too busy or it's too simple. Really, just do what works for you. And here it is. I know, I love it. I'm sorry, I do. Hope you really enjoyed this tutorial. If you do, please give it a thumbs up. If you have any questions at all, please leave them in the comments down below. I am getting to everybody's comments, I promise. If you haven't yet, click subscribe. When you do, a little bell will pop up. When you ring that bell, YouTube will let you know whenever I upload a new video, which is pretty much every day. And if you haven't yet, share this video with friends and family, anybody who might be interested in learning this technique or seeing this finished product. And as always, you take care, God bless, and we'll see you next time. Bye.